This book tells the story of Cambodia. It is a long journey through more than 2,000 years of history. This story is about a special country and its incredible people. Geography is very important in Cambodia. Great rivers and a large lake gave the people water and fish. This helped them grow rice and build a strong society. Religion was also a very big part of life. New ideas from India brought Hindu gods and, later, Buddhism. These beliefs gave power to the kings. They also gave them the ideas to build some of the most beautiful temples in the world. Cambodia has always lived next to powerful countries. Sometimes these neighbors were good partners for trade. At other times, they brought war and serious problems. Through all the good and bad times, the Khmer people have shown amazing strength. Our journey through history starts with the first kingdoms. Then we will learn about the great Ankor Empire. This was a golden age with powerful kings and wonderful temples, like the famous Angkor Wat. After this great period, the empire became weaker and faced many difficulties. We will also read about a time of struggle when France ruled the country for many years. After the French left, a terrible civil war started. This led to the very sad years under the Khmer Rouge. Finally, we will see how Cambodia began its difficult path to peace. This is the story of Cambodia's great past, its terrible sadness, and the strength of its people. 2. The First Kingdoms. The first people in the land of Cambodia were farmers. They lived in small communities and grew rice. They also got a lot of fish from the many rivers and the Great Lake. These early people had their own beliefs. They believed powerful spirits lived in the water, the trees, and the land. They also respected the spirits of their family members who had died. These beliefs were an important part of their daily life. Then new ideas began to arrive from India. For hundreds of years, traders and priests traveled by sea from India to Southeast Asia. They were not an army. They came to trade and share their culture. They brought new religions like Hinduism with its gods Shiva and Vishnu, and also Buddhism. They brought a new way to write. Local chiefs and kings liked these new ideas. They learned about the idea of a great king who was like a god. A famous story tells of an Indian man who married a local princess. This story shows how the two cultures joined together. The first big kingdom was called Funan. It was powerful from about the 1st century to the 6th century. Funan was located in the south near the Mekong Delta. Its power came from controlling the sea trade between India and China. Its main port was a very busy city. People from different places came there. Funan sold valuable things from the forest, like ivory and special wood. Around the 6th century, power started to move inland, away from the coast. A new state called Chenla became more important than Funan. Chenla was a land-based kingdom. Its wealth came from agriculture and controlling people and land, not from sea trade. This period is special because it is the first time we have writing from the Khmer people themselves. They carved words onto large stones. Some of these stone writings are in the Indian language of Sanskrit, but many are in the Old Khmer language. They tell us about temples, land, and the names of workers. 3. The Great Ankor Empire. The Great Ankor Empire began around the year 802. A new king named Jayavarman II united many small kingdoms into one large one. He started a new and important idea called the God King. This meant the king was not just a ruler, but also like a god on earth. This idea made the king very powerful and respected by his people. It was the start of a new time of greatness for the Khmer people that lasted for centuries. The kings who came after Jayavarman II continued to build the empire. They built amazing water systems to control water. These systems had huge reservoirs called barais. A barai is a very large, man-made lake. The barais held water for the dry season. This water was used for farming, so farmers could grow more rice. With more food, the population grew larger. This system of water engineering was the secret to Angkor's power. It gave the empire the food and wealth it needed to grow strong. In the 12th century, King Suryavarman II built the most famous temple of all, Angkor Wat. It is the largest religious building in the world. The temple was built to honor the Hindu god Vishnu. The building is a masterpiece. Its 5 tall towers look like the peaks of Mount Meru, the mythical home of the gods. A huge moat, a channel filled with water, surrounds the temple like an ocean. The walls have beautiful carvings that tell stories from Hindu books and about the king's victories in war. Angkor Wat was also built to be the king's funerary temple. Life in the Angkor Empire was very organized. The God King was at the top of society. He had absolute power. Below him, there were powerful families and Brahmin priests who helped run the kingdom and perform religious ceremonies. Most of the people were farmers, builders, and slaves. Their lives were hard. They were the ones who grew all the rice in the fields. They were the ones whose hard work built the magnificent temples and dug the giant barais. These ordinary people were the foundation of the empire's great power. 4. A new religion and new problems. After the time of the great King Suryavarman II, the Angkor Empire faced a terrible crisis. In the year 1177, enemies from the nearby Champa kingdom launched a surprise attack on the capital city. The attack was very bad for Angkor. The city was damaged and the Khmer king was killed. It was a dark and difficult period for the people. A strong Khmer prince came to save the kingdom. His name was Jayavarman. He fought the Champa army for 4 years and finally pushed them out. In 1181, this prince became the new ruler, King Jayavarman VII. He was a very powerful and important king. King Jayavarman VII brought a new religion and new ideas to the empire. The old kings were Hindu and saw themselves as gods on earth. But Jayavarman VII was a devoted Buddhist. He wanted to be a compassionate king who helped his people and ended their suffering. He started a huge building program. He built a new, large capital city called Angkor Thom, which means Great City. It had high, strong walls all around it. In the very center of this city, he built the famous Bayon Temple. The Bayon is very special. It has 54 stone towers, and on these towers are more than 200 giant, smiling faces. The kind faces look out in every direction over the kingdom. The king also built 102 hospitals and 121 rest houses for travelers on the empire's roads. These amazing building projects were very expensive and needed a lot of workers. The kingdom used too much of its money and resources. The people had to work very hard. After Jayavarman VII died, the empire was exhausted and weak. Slowly, another religious change came. A simpler kind of Buddhism, called Theravada Buddhism, became popular with the people. This religion did not need god kings or giant, expensive temples. This new belief weakened the king's special power. The empire started its long, slow decline. New, strong enemies from Thailand attacked from the west. The great Ankor Empire was coming to an end. 5. A country in the middle. After the great Angkor Empire ended, Cambodia changed a lot. The kingdom was weaker, and the old capital city of Angkor was not safe anymore. It was far from the sea and easy for enemies to attack. So the Khmer kings moved the capital south. They built new cities like Lavek and later Udong. These new capitals were near big rivers, including the Mekong River. This location was better for the kingdom. The country was no longer a big land empire. It became a smaller kingdom that focused on trade. The new capitals on the rivers were good for this. Ships could travel easily from the sea to the cities to buy and sell things. Cambodia traded valuable products from its forests. This was very different from the time of Angkor, when power came from controlling land and farming rice. Soon, new people came to Cambodia. For the first time, traders from Europe arrived by sea. These were men from countries like Portugal and Spain. Their arrival connected Cambodia to more parts of the world. However, this was a very difficult and dangerous time. Cambodia was caught between two much stronger neighbors. To the west was the powerful kingdom of Siam, which is now Thailand. To the east, the country of Vietnam was growing bigger and stronger. Both Siam and Vietnam wanted to control Cambodia. There was constant fighting. Their armies invaded Cambodia many times, destroying towns and farms and hurting the Khmer people. Princes in the Cambodian royal court also fought each other to become king. To get power, one prince would ask Siam for soldiers. Another prince might ask Vietnam for help. This invited the powerful neighbors into Cambodia's problems and made the country even weaker. Cambodia lost important land to both Siam and Vietnam. For many years, the kingdom was not truly free. It was a country trapped in the middle. 6. The time of the French. Cambodia was in a very difficult time. For many years, it was caught between its two strong neighbors, Siam and Vietnam. Both countries wanted to control Cambodia. There was a lot of fighting, and the country became very weak. The Cambodian king, King Duang, knew his country needed help from a different, powerful nation. He looked to Europe and started to talk with France. After King Duang died, his son Norodom became king. He continued to look for help. In 1863, King Norodom signed an agreement with France. This agreement made Cambodia a French protectorate. This meant France promised to protect Cambodia from Siam and Vietnam. In return, France gained power and influence in the country. The long years of war with its neighbors finally stopped. Cambodia was saved as a country, but it was no longer independent. The French brought many changes. At first, they did not have a lot of control, but over time their power grew. They took more control from the Cambodian king and his government. The French built new roads, bridges, and railways. They made Phnom Penh the new capital city and built many new buildings there. They also stopped the old system of slavery. However, they also made Cambodian people pay new taxes with money. Many poor farmers found this very difficult. One of the most important things the French did was rediscover the old temples of Ankor. For centuries, these great buildings were lost in the jungle. French scholars and archaeologists came to Cambodia. They studied the history of the Ankor Empire. They cleaned the jungle away from the temples and started to repair them. They showed Angkor Wat to the world. This gave the Cambodian people back their story of a great and glorious past. But living under French rule created new feelings. A small number of Cambodians went to French schools and learned about ideas like freedom and independence. They started to believe that Cambodians should rule their own country again. After many years, the wish for independence grew stronger and would soon change Cambodia forever. 7. A prince and a big war. Cambodia became an independent country in 1953. The French left, and the new leader was a young man, King Norodom Sihanouk. For many Cambodians, the years after independence were a good time. There was peace, and the country built many new schools and hospitals. In 1955, Sihanouk did something unusual. He decided to stop being king and gave the job to his father. He wanted to be a politician, not a king. As Prince Sihanouk, he became the most powerful person in Cambodia for the next 15 years. His political group was called the Sangkum Reastre Neum. At this time, there was a big war in the country next to Cambodia, Vietnam. It was a part of the Cold War between America and the communist countries. Prince Sihanouk wanted to keep Cambodia safe and out of this war. He said Cambodia was neutral, which means it did not take a side. He took help from America, China, and the Soviet Union. Sihanouk believed that the communists would win the war in Vietnam, so he made a secret agreement. He allowed North Vietnamese soldiers to use bases inside Cambodia. He also let them use a Cambodian port to get weapons and supplies. This secret policy created big problems. Sihanouk's own army leaders were not happy. They were anti-communist and wanted to be friends with the United States. The United States was also angry about the Vietnamese bases. In 1969, American planes started to secretly bomb these areas in Cambodia. The country was no longer truly at peace. In March 1970, Prince Sihanouk was traveling in another country. While he was away, his prime minister, General Lon Nol, took control of the government. This is called a coup. Lon Nol ended Sihanouk's rule and started a new government called the Khmer Republic, which was friendly with America. This coup pushed Cambodia directly into the Vietnam War. From China, Sihanouk asked the Cambodian people to fight against Lon Nol. He made an agreement to work with his old enemies, the Cambodian communists. A terrible civil war began. The war and the heavy American bombing destroyed many villages. This chaos helped a small, very brutal communist group to grow. Sihanouk called them the Khmer Rouge. They were becoming stronger every day. 8. The Sad Years and a New Start. In April 1975, the Khmer Rouge soldiers took control of Phnom Penh. This was the start of a very dark time in Cambodia's history. The soldiers, who all wore black clothes, told everyone to leave the cities. They forced millions of people to walk to the countryside. The Khmer Rouge wanted to create a new kind of country. They closed all the schools, hospitals, temples, and markets. They said money was not needed anymore. The country's new name was Democratic Kampuchea, but it was not a free place. Life became terrible for the Cambodian people. The new people from the cities were forced to work long hours in the fields with very little food. Many people died from starvation and sickness because there were no doctors or medicine. The Khmer Rouge also killed anyone they thought was an enemy. This included soldiers and workers from the old government. They were afraid of educated people, so they killed teachers, doctors, and writers. Even wearing glasses could be dangerous. Families were often separated and were not allowed to show their sadness. This terrible period is known as the Killing Fields. In just 3 years and 8 months, about 1.7 million Cambodians lost their lives. In 1978, the Khmer Rouge started to fight with its neighbor, Vietnam. This was a big mistake. The Vietnamese army invaded Cambodia and took Phnom Penh in January 1979. The Khmer Rouge government ended, and its leaders ran to the forests near the border with Thailand. The war was not over yet. A civil war continued for the next 10 years. The Khmer Rouge and other groups fought against the new government that Vietnam had put in place. After many years of fighting, the United Nations helped to bring peace. In 1991, the different Cambodian groups signed a peace agreement in Paris. The UN sent a large team to Cambodia to help the country prepare for a better future. They helped more than 350,000 refugees return to their homes from camps in Thailand. In 1993, the UN organized a successful election. For the first time in many years, the Cambodian people could vote for their leaders. The election brought new hope to the country. Norodom Sihanouk returned and became king again. Today, Cambodia has peace. The last Khmer Rouge fighters finally surrendered in 1999, ending the long war for good. The economy is growing, with many people working in clothing factories and tourism. Many visitors come each year to see the amazing temples of Ankor. But the country still has many challenges. The memory of the sad years is still very strong for many people as they work to build a better and more just future. What do you think is the most important lesson from Cambodia's modern history?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.